Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. JACALYN. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. JACALYN at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to USA Global TV and Business Talk Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and our show today is the Mallorca Connection, and we are going to discuss how to work full-time from an RV from a man who is doing it right now as we speak. My co-host and friend, Mr. Roland Friedl, is here backstage. He is not only a co-host, he's an expert presenter on our Talking Heads platform. He'll be presenting right after this show is over. And he's also an elevated listener. He's on our Talking Heads panel, and he is actually going to be pioneering a new show we have about men for men by men. Let's bring him on to the show. Welcome, Roland.
Welcome, Dr. JACALYN. Nice to see you again. How are you doing?
Nice to see you as well, Roland. And I'm so excited. We were just talking backstage about the fact that you are in an RV. You have been driving and traveling. You gave up your home and you have taken on this incredible excursion, I should say, just a new way of living life. And there's so many people who want to do what you're doing. So let's really dig into it. I want to spotlight you first and have you share with our audience about what it is you're doing when you're not in your RV and you're not on USA Global TV.
Okay. Well, thanks. Yeah. Hi, guys out there. Yeah, I'm Roland. Maybe you can hear from my accent. I'm originally Austrian in a beautiful country in Europe. And I spent the last 14 years, besides traveling, my home base was on a beautiful island in Spain, in Mallorca. My background is business and coaching. So I have from almost, more than 25 years, 2.5 decades experience in coaching and training, consulting and sparring international companies all over the world, and helping their organizations and their leaders not only to perform better, but also to have a more fulfilled and purposeful life. That's my main business that drives me since over 25 years. Besides that, I coach people who want to change their lifestyle, maybe traveling more, work remotely, or maybe from their own garden, from an island, from the mountains, wherever. So we do this. And my passion is also to support men, because I'm, first of all, besides a human being, I'm a man, a father of kids and a grandfather, and I support men on a platform about in a safe environment where we share our emotions, our anxieties, our doubts, whatever emotions we have. So I dedicated my life to support other people's, and by this I learn a lot. I'm still learning. Some call me a master, but to be honest, I'm still a student. I'm still learning, and that's what I'm doing.
Thank you so much, Roland. I forgot to mention at the intro that you're also in my new book, Adversity to Awesome. You have your own chapter where people can learn even more about you. So that's exciting. All right. I want to talk about many things about this whole aspect of working from anywhere. And there are people who have thought about it. They've talked about it, but they've never done anything about it. And you have actually done all of the above. So the first thing I want to talk about is, what are the logistics? What are the things that you physically have to do, buy, install, so that you can work remotely?
Well, it depends on your background and what your service is, what you want to deliver, what you want to sell, what your business is. I'm working as I mentioned before, I'm working as a trainer coach, and so I can do this from every place wherever I want. Because of the last 3 years of the pandemic that happened, most clients choose a virtual way. So I still do the same like before, but while driving my RV, I also meet my clients. I also do classroom training. So I do the same. So for me, what I need is Yeah, good connection, internet connection. That's all I need. I need a good internet connection. Actually, I signed up a contract 3 hours ago with an Austrian company. I'm right now in Austria, back with my RV. So I signed a contract for them for 1 month to have good internet. And to be honest, I don't care about the costs of internet. It just has to work because that's what I need beside electricity, of course. So for the setup. Here I have a studio. Nobody can see it, but I have a ring light here. I brought my camera, I brought my microphone. I have my green screen in the back. Depending what you're doing. Yeah. But I guess most people, when they're working remotely, just they need the computer and the internet. That's all you need. And when you do video conferences, maybe you have a good camera and a good microphone to be more professional. Maybe you use a green screen. And here you go, whatever you're doing, if you're teaching something, if you're training, consulting, whatever you want to do. There's so many options to work online, to be honest, so many different options.
So just so our audience knows, you are in an RV right now, parked somewhere in Austria broadcasting, which I just think is amazing. And when we see you next week, you'll be somewhere else. So you really have the freedom and the ability to work from anywhere you want, as long as you have electricity, the internet connection, and you've got a computer and you're ready to go. So the next thing I want to talk about is, and I think this is something that just comes to mind. How does it feel when you're alone in the RV? So you're not meeting with the clients, you're not broadcasting, but it's just you there in the RV. Is it any different than being you in your home?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, I mean I'm alone, but I'm not. I'm not lonely. That's the difference. To be honest, the older I get, the older I become, the more I enjoy to have time for myself. And my days are really packed because, even when I'm traveling for my RV, I don't make many miles or many kilometers a day. But I have a normal routine. That's very important for myself to have a daily routine. So I get up in the morning early, wherever I am. I do my exercise. I do my sports. Normally I walk the dogs in the morning. Not for the next 6 weeks because the dogs are with my girlfriend right now. But I pick them up in 6 weeks. So I do a dog walk in the morning. I do meditation. I do some workout, or I go for a swim or whatever. So for me, it's very important to have a daily routine. That's what I'm doing. And then I have a normal. For me, it's just a normal life. And in the evenings. I love to read books. To be honest, I brought so many books here. I have a lot on my ebooks, but I also brought a lot of printed versions. Not only business books that I need for my work for my clients. I brought a lot. I guess I'm not quite sure, 60, 70 books from different spiritual teachers like Osho, Thich Nhat Hanh, or Dr. Jeffrey Armstrong that we had a few weeks on the show. So I use the time when I'm not working, when I'm not to do my workout, I use my time to work on myself and just read and work on my spiritual growth. That's what I'm doing. So I don't feel lonely. I'm alone, yeah, but I'm not lonely. And by the way, if you want, you can always go out in a bar, have a drink, or at a coffee shop, or you go on a camping site and meet other people. So for me, I really enjoy to be by myself here. Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing that. Now, you just said something that sparked a question for me. How do you get your mail? Or what if you want to order a new book and they go deliver it to you? He's on the road. He's on whatever highway. So how do you get things delivered or get mail sent to you?
Well, I can tell you because right now I'm in the front of the house of my auntie. I spent a few days here in the north of Austria, close to the Czechoslovakian border. It's a beautiful landscape here. It's really nothing here. A lot of forests, a lot of wild animals, and it's freezing cold right now. So I knew that I would come here. So I ordered some stuff. I don't know, in the commercials on this huge American company. I ordered some stuff and they delivered it here. I picked it up. I know that end of April I will be at a friend's home, work from there and meet him. So I will send some stuff there. It's all about organization,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's no problem to no, absolutely not.
So how far in advance is your schedule set? So you're going to visit clients, you're going to visit friends and family in different places. How far out have you projected?
Right now, until the 5th or 6th of May.
Okay.
And afterwards, I have absolutely no idea if I go south, north, west, east. Right now, no idea. So, to be honest, I guess when you work remotely, or when you travel the world, or when you ride an RV or whatever it is, I guess the most important thing is be flexible. It's not planning on the long side, doesn't make any sense, especially at this times. This challenging time with the pandemic. Here in Europe, we have this war not so far away, to be honest, a few hundred kilometers from here. We have this war. So just staying flexible. I'm not planning too much.
Yeah, and there's something I feel that's very liberating about that, where you don't have to have every single minute scheduled for the next year, right? You can just relax, enjoy the environment, enjoy this incredible opportunity that you've created for yourself. So another question comes to mind right now. You mentioned you're in front of family members. What about safety when you're on the road or you're sleeping in a campsite or somewhere at night? Any concerns about that?
Not at all, to be honest. The point is, to have a lot of discussions, especially with female wen livers, who actually, when you stay in the wilderness and just alone, for sure nothing is happening, because nobody's seeking for you. I guess more dangerous, I don't know how it's in the US, but here in Europe, more dangerous is when you go to large cities in Spain or in France, in cities, or on gas station highways. So I never stay overnight there. I don't do this. Even when I'm traveling with my dog, I don't do it. But I feel safe. Even with my dogs or without my dogs, I feel safe. I trust in the universe. And I mean, there can always happen something, of course. But I spent the last 4 years, I spent many months in the RV just traveling on vacations and for business. I have absolutely no fear. But to be honest, I'm prepared. As I mentioned, I don't go to large cities in France or in Spain where I know that they break up your RV and steal your stuff. I don't do that. So some plans, yes, but I'm not scared at all.
Once again, you've thought this through, which is why you feel confident in what you're doing. You have said all along that one of your taglines or motto is "Don't think outside the box, there is no box." What does that mean to you?
I mean, some people are saying the sky is the limit. I guess our limiting belief systems our thoughts are the limits. We set our limits by ourselves, our boundaries, and for me there are absolutely no boundaries. And I learned it from the early years when I was young. I was always trying out things. Why don't we do it this way? Why would we try it this way? Why don't we do it this way? I always did it different. I'm not a negative person that always say no to something. That's absolutely not me. But I always try something new, trying out because I learned this supports my personal growth. When you always do the same, how will you always do the same? When you always experience the same, when you eat the same, that's not my life. And I wouldn't say it's better. It's just different. When I compare it to my colleagues from high school, they're still in the same city. They have a job in the same city. They're married in the same city. Maybe they're going to die in the same city. And they fly out, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks a year to have some holidays. I won't say it's good or better or worse. It's just different. For me, I'm always trying out things, and I love it. I love it, and that's why I grow. And it really thrills me when I go in new places for work, for example. I don't know the people. I don't know the venue. I love it. I need this thrill. This what is, and the same with traveling. I love it. But to be honest, I mean, we had this short conversation backstage. Yesterday, I was on the highway, and to be honest, in the morning driving, and I said. And I had some anxiety, I was a little bit scared and was worrying about the future. Of course, I'm not a superhuman being. I also have doubts and anxieties. I also have them, but they don't stop me. I acknowledge them, I recognize them, I acknowledge them, and then I think about myself, okay, what is this coming from? What is my inner dialogue? Why I'm scared? Why I'm worried? What's going on? What is my self-talk? What is my limiting belief I have? And then I work on it, and then I keep going. So this is my message to everyone. Everyone has anxieties and fears, is scared. This is absolutely normal, but some stop and run away, go back, or like me and other people, we keep going. We keep going.
Yeah, I really admire that. It's definitely sounds like every day is a new experience. You don't know what to expect, and you're learning something. You'll figure it out. I want to say hello to our friend from Las Vegas, Nat. Nice to have you with us. Hey, everyone. Hope you're having a positive day. And also,
Thank you.
Christopher Roberts. Nat, I know I'm having a positive day. I love when the people start communicating with each other. Christopher Roberts is the head broadcast engineer at Business Talk Radio, and he's taking us out over the airwaves there. He actually trained me to be a broadcast engineer. So thank you, Chris. Nice to have you with us as well.
Hi, Chris.
So, Roland, I want to talk a little bit about these boxing gloves that we have here and about the work that you do with your men's club. So, first of all, why do we have these boxing gloves? We had picked a different graphic for this show, and you said, "No, no, no, I want to do something different." And you came up with this concept, and I love it. What does it mean?
Well, actually, the boxing glove started many years ago when I transferred or changed my company, my training company, a few years ago, and I changed the name and I changed a little bit the content. I did a lot of training and coaching in the past, and also consulting, and then I found out, it's not enough. I have to combine all the things, and I call it sparring. I see, from boxing to spare, to train, to be ready for. It's a kind of negative word, but it's ready for the fight, meaning ready for the real world, ready for the market, ready for the client, ready for competitors. That's why I choose these boxing clothes, just to be prepared. And I spare myself, of course, every day. I spare my clients, I spare my partners, and that's why we have this boxing clothes. They started with my SPS and my Spartan Performance Systems in my training company, and we also have it in the men's group, because we have also spare ourselves and be more brave and talk about our emotions, talk about our sexuality, talk about our relationships, and talk about life. That's why we have this boxing clothes.
Thank you. And I'm excited that we're going to have a men's program on here that you're going to lead for us. That's also fantastic. We've talked about this before, Roland, but I really think that it warrants being mentioned again. People will go on vacation, they'll have a great time. Let's say they go to a beach resort and they're hanging out. Hey, I love it here. I could just move here. I'm just going to go back and sell everything and pack up a few things. And people do, they make straw hats, or they're doing wave runner rides, whatever it is, but they take everything that they had back there, all their emotional baggage, they take it with them, and they think it's going to be different when they get to the next place. What do you feel about that, and what's your experience been?
Well, I mean, if you have the desire to move somewhere else, do it, wherever it is. I mean, you can move to Bali, to inside the US, to India, to Spain, wherever you go. Just go. But always keep in mind, don't try to escape. You always bring yourself, your limiting belief systems, your doubts, your anxieties, all the shit, you bring it with you. So if you want to do it, of course, do it. I mean, I did it too, but you have to realize don't do it because you're running away from something that doesn't make anything, because the shit will follow you. So that's my advice. If you love it, to go where, yes, but well, it's depending. When you're young and free, you're not responsible for kids or for your partner, and you can do whatever you want. Yeah, and if it's not working, just go back to the old normal. That's no problem. Or when you're older, kids are out of school and stuff like that, or out of the house, of course you can do. But when you're responsible for a family, for a partner, whatever, then be more realistic, less emotional, and be prepared. And be prepared. Is it really the country, the place you want to be? Do you speak the language? How is the culture? Are there any cultural differences? Are you allowed to work there? What kind of work can you do? What kind of income will you generate? Because some people are really go there because they love the beaches and all that stuff. And I have an own story, because when the pandemic started 2 years ago, and I love freedom. I'm a free person, and I said to my love, and she was the same. Maybe we're gonna leave Europe. It's not good what's going here. Maybe go to Indonesia. So we love both Bali. So we found another island, beautiful place, and then we made a list, pros and contras. And the funny thing is her list and my list were totally different. She was writing the typical stuff done. Nice beach, whales, dolphins are swimming, beautiful stuff, whatever, something blah, blah. And I said, yes, honey, that's nice for vacation, but write prose down why you want to live there. That's something totally different. Going on vacation or starting starting a new life, a new chapter, and even if you want to start a new business. So actually be prepared. That's very, very important. Be really prepared what kind of job you want to do. And if you can bring your current business, your current job there, and you just continue, fine. If you start something new, be aware. You go in a country, you don't know the culture, maybe you don't know the language, you don't know the market. You have, first of all, you don't have any network there. You don't have friends, stuff like that. It's tougher than at home. Believe me, it's tougher than at home. And when you really want to make a good business, I have some friends who moved to Mallorca and other places, very, very successful. But believe me, they didn't see the beach very often because they have working. Because when you get out of the comfort zone, when you get out from your home base, when you get away from your network, you have to work much harder, especially when you start a new business. So be aware of that. So it's beautiful to live in paradise, but if you have to work hard, believe you don't want to see the beach. You don't see the beach very often.
Thanks, Roland. I'm actually laughing because I'm fortunate enough to live in two different places during the year, and both places people come to for the beach and for the entertainment. And I haven't seen a beach at all. Even in the one place in New Jersey, we're 4 blocks from the beach. I have not been to the beach because I am constantly working or working out or taking care of my mom. So that is a really great point. You have to put your heart and soul into it because it's really your baby, regardless of where you're working from. And you have to have your priorities straight. So if you're thinking that you want to do something and it's going to be a hobby, sure, you can go to the beach, you can go spend a lot of time doing other things. But if you want to make money, you've got to be there. I don't want to say day and night, but pretty close to it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I moved to Mallorca, for example, 14 years ago. To be honest, I didn't work on the island. Yeah, I was always flying out, see my clients because there was no pandemic, there was no virtual classroom, so I was always flying out. And when I was on the island, I really was recovering, and I was driving my convertible, having drinks with friends, and having party. It was really nice. Actually, the first year was really a holiday for the whole year. But I had the money in the background, so this was no problem. But it's, as I mentioned before, it's something very, very different if you move somewhere and you start from scratch. Yeah, that's something really, really, really different. So be prepared. I mean, don't stop. Go for it, but be very clear and be prepared. Clarity is very important. And actually, the point is being realistic. And always said, what are the expenses? Yeah, and set them higher than you believe. And what is the income? And set it lower than you believe, and then find it out, because that's realistic. It takes some time, but when you have a dream, go for it. Really, go for it. Absolutely, but be aware of it, that it's harder than at home.
Thank you. That's a really great points that you're presenting today. So when you're working with the men in your men's group, obviously without saying any names, but what are some of the typical issues that men feel that they're not heard or that they can't share that might preclude them from going into a completely different type of lifestyle?
That's a good question. It's depending. It's depending of the age of the man, in which level or which phase of the life they are. What I see in the men's group are especially young men. They're very disillusioned. They have no direction. They don't know what's going on. They're scared about the future. Absolutely. They, with all these gender discussions and they don't know if they're really men or more female. Men that are older, most of them have been working like crazy, making career, making money. And when now they're in their mid 40s or beginning 50s, they realize, oh my gosh, I forgot to live. I was always doing, I was successful, I was always doing, hustling, providing for my family and kids. What is good, but most of them forgot to live. So what we do in our men's group, we really speak about, what drives us. what our unfulfilled dreams, what we want to do, what we want to change, what holds us back, what we believe is holding us back. So it's different. It's different topics from different angles.
Thank you, Roland. And we've talked before about the fact when people are not satisfied with what they're doing or where they are in their life, sometimes they become addicted to some things. It could be addicted to food or alcohol or gambling or sex. There's so many different things. And I know that you've worked with a number of people who have gone through this. So what are some of the steps that people have to take other than being aware of what they're doing so they could move into a new phase of their life where they are getting fulfilled?
Well, I mean, first of all, you have to be aware that you're in trouble. That's the first one. I guess that's the most difficult phase, because we know when you're an alcoholic, you don't know that you're an alcoholic, or when you don't know it. It's for you, it's normal. And I often see it very much that the more pressure comes from outside to change, there's more resistance. I'm the same, when somebody from outside, my girlfriend, is pushing me, I hate this. It's not working for me. But the first step is to be aware of it, to recognize it, to be aware of it. And then depending on your personality, there are persons who are heading towards a goal, or there are people who are running away from something, depending on what kind of people are. People are want to say, okay, I want to, for example, I want to be fitter. It's a positive approach. And some people said, I don't want to be as fat as I am. So there are different approaches. So the first is, as I said, being aware of it, and then find something that drives you, and getting out of this. And I guess it was very, very important is find help from outside. Find somebody you trust and go for help from outside. Especially I say this to men, especially in Europe. I guess in the US, as far as I know from my friends, it's more common to ask for help from a coach or another professional. It's not so common in Europe, and especially for men. And I was the same, to be honest. Years ago, I would never go to a therapist or something like that. Now I do it because we had this discussion in the interview in the book. I was traumatized as a kid, and I didn't know it for years. So if you once you are aware that you're in trouble, go and ask for support and help for your partner, of course, but also ask for professional help. It's really important.
Now, what if someone is working in a corporation and they could potentially lose their work? What are your thoughts about that?
Actually, this happens to many people. They're so focused on their addiction, whatever it is, that they're losing their jobs, they're losing their families, they lose everything. And some people really needed the hard way to wake up. Yeah, some people wake up in between in the journey, but some people really need it the hard way, and then they turn around and change, or they just give up. And there are persons that they're always a victim. Everybody else fault. No self-responsibility. These people are really go in a negative content loop, and they're really caught in a trap, and they don't get out because they don't see that's all about them. It's just to make a decision. It's all about making a decision. I stop it, whatever it is, I stop it. It's make a decision. And as I said before, it's not always easy. So ask for professional help, for professional support. You need it, but it's a clear decision. And also for the therapist, for the professional therapist, you can't work for somebody who is not ready for it. If the person is not willing, you can't do anything. I was counseling 4 years ago, a millionaire. And I was asked by his doctor if I can move into this house and keep him away from drinking, because he's going to die. So I moved into his house, and I will never forget it. I stayed a month with him. And actually, they paid me a hell of money, but to be honest, it was horrible for me. So keep this person 24 hours away from drinking, and it was really, really bad. And I said to him, it's all about you. If you have to make a decision. And I remember when this person said, because he wanted to drink champagne, and I said no. And I said, and he said to me, this is my house, this is my boat, this is my money, this is my champagne. And I said to him, yes, this is your house, this is your boat, this is your money, this is your champagne. If you drink it, I go. Bye-bye. Because it's all about you to make a decision. It's hard, but it's all about making a clear decision. Whatever you're doing, getting away from addiction, or being fitter, or losing weight, or being more professional or being more successful, whatever it is. It's all about you making a decision. Nobody else can make decision for you. It's all about making a decision, and then find a way to the right direction. And if you can't do it by yourself, ask for help.
What ended up happening with that client?
Sorry?
What ended up happening with the client that you were living with for that month?
Actually, he said 100 times I saved his life because I didn't push him. I let him some freedom. I did a lot of coaching, and I was working actually not on he was a heavy drinker. I was not working on his alcohol. I was working on his trauma, what happened in the past. So we had long discussions about what's the root cause of all of it. Because everyone who is taking drugs or whatever addiction or drinking or eating, there is a root cause for it. Maybe there's a trauma in the past, there's a negative belief, whatever it is. There was an event in the past that triggered this person. And because what people are doing who taking drugs or alcohol or food, it's just escaping, it's just escaping. Yeah. And they escape from something, and you have to find out what they're escaping from. What triggers them? What's the root cause of all of this? And when you work on this, then you can heal a person. If you're not working on the root cause, maybe this person stops drinking for a few weeks, but when the problem comes up in his inner dialogue, and this person is hating him or herself, she's starting drinking or eating again. It's all about the root cause, finding the root cause.
And did you find out during these coaching sessions with this person that whatever that root cause was also helped drive him to be as successful as he was?
Yes, absolutely. This person had the same experience like myself, and I had as a kid, the sexual abuse, and so he was always since the early years drinking to not feel himself and not feel guilty and ashamed. But on the other hand, he was very successful in business because in his opinion, he always has to prove himself that he is worth, that he's a worth person, that he is worth to be loved. He couldn't get himself self-love, but he had a craving for being loved, being hugged, and the only way he believed was to be loved is being successful and working like crazy. And when you're successful, when you're a star in the business wherever you are, it's cool. But everybody knows, like a rock star, when the show is over and you're alone in the hotel room or in your villa, then all the shit is coming out. And then, depending on your personality, and when the shit is too much, then you start drinking, or you're just not coaching yourself or eating or whatever it is.
Yeah, great point. Thank you. We see that a lot here in the States when you read about what's going on in Hollywood, that after the show's over, a person's just drowning their sorrows in alcohol and pills and drugs because they have had something happen in their life. But yet on the stage, they put on the show face and they're ready to go. But back in the hotel room or wherever it is, that they're really unhappy and sad.
Yeah. But I have the same, I also have dark moments and a kind of depression. I'm the same, as I mentioned before. I'm not a superhuman being, but I can handle it. I have my dark moments. I have sometimes I don't want to get up in the morning. I don't want to see the world. But after a while, I say, hey, what's going on? What is your inner dialogue? What the fuck are you telling yourself? Do you really believe this shit? And then I get out, and what really helps me is, to be honest, is you have becoming a good state, because when you're upright, when you're standing, or when you're walking, when you're running, you cannot be in a negative emotion. Your negative emotion, when you're lying in bed, you're sitting on a sofa like this, then you're in a dark state. But when you're upright, in a good state, in a good position, you cannot be negative. It's not working. I learned this, and it's not always easy, because sometimes it's really deep down and it takes a few hours sometimes. But I know I have to change my state first. I have to get out of the bed, having a hot or cold shower, whatever you love, and then moving. When you're moving, you feel much better. You never see a person depressed who is running in nature or working out. You never see this. It's always when you're sitting in or like that. This is what helped me. Has helped me.
Yeah, I've learned that as well. I stand for all my shows. As you know, I've been doing this for, it seems like forever, but I have to, I'm standing now. I stand all day when I'm broadcasting and I feel much happier. I feel like I'm in control of my posture. And when I go for a walk, and today was the first day I ran outside, which was amazing, I couldn't help but notice how many people I passed who were looking down. I don't know why people are always looking down when there's so much to see when you look up. And it is great to be outside with nature and just hear the different sounds of the creatures and look at the sky and just appreciate being alive.
Yeah, that's why I strongly believe that a daily routine in the morning and in the evening is so important, because everybody's facing troubles and have his shadow sides. So it's so important. Whenever you get up in the morning, doesn't matter. I'm an early bird at 5, normally 5:30. But it's so important to have a daily routine to start positively. I don't know what it is, running or walking a dog or working out or meditation or reading a positive book or whatever. It's just starting, but really having a daily routine you're looking for before you go to the job or whatever. So you really want to get up and out of the bed and say, okay, I go for a run because I love to run on the beach or whatever it is. And also in the evening before you sleep, just have also a daily routine in the evening. And what I do is I'm writing down what I'm grateful today, and it's very important, because some days are really bad and really challenging. I experience the same, as I said, but what helped me is just sitting down and said, okay, it was a shit day, but what was positive? And something I said, oh, I remember when I had this coffee, the smell of the coffee was so fantastic, or whatever it is, or just I saw somebody smiling. What I learned is the things that makes us happy, just for sure, these are the small things. And it's so important, especially after a challenging day, to sit down before you go to bed or go to sleep and write down what was positive, what made you smile, yeah, what opened your heart, these positive things. And then you with this energy and with this last thoughts of positive things, not of negative things, with positive things, you go to sleep, you get a much better rest. So I'm a strong believer, and I love daily routines. They're so important, and especially for those guys who want to live in an RV when you're alone. It's even more important to have a daily routine, because otherwise, you're just, especially when the weather's not good, you're staying inside, and it's not good when you have a depression or something like that. So have a daily routine helps absolutely.
Great advice. Thank you, Roland. We have to close out because your Talking Heads episode is coming up. But for people who are not familiar with Talking Heads and they don't know what it is you're going to be presenting, would you share a little bit of information about that?
Yeah, Talking Head is an amazing platform that you, Dr. JACALYN, established on USA Global TV, where experts in different areas share their knowledge and their experience. And I'm very honored and grateful to be part of this Talking Heads. Yeah, I already had a series of episodes the last 6 times about setting goals and effective team meetings. Today, I start a new series, actually, of 12 episodes, and the headline is Performance Under Pressure, Control of Attention. This is it's for business people. It's also for people in sports, but actually for every person. It's all about control of attention. And tonight, here in Europe, it's already evening. In the US, it's maybe in the morning or lunchtime. We're gonna start the first episode, and the topic is increase control versus reduce control. Interesting topic.
Very interesting. Well, thank you, Roland. This has been really informative. Any idea where you'll be joining us from next week?
Next week, next Tuesday. Yeah, I know it, because I have a business meeting with a client in the south of Austria, and they offered me to park overnight at their corporate place. They have a good Wi-Fi, a good place. So I will be in the south of Austria. So yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for making this happen. I love the fact that you're taking us on the road with you and just bringing all of this relevant and important information and your experiences to our audiences. So thank you for that.
Yeah, everyone who wants to follow this, I don't post too many on Facebook or social media, but when you go on my website, rolandfriedl.com, And then you find a link to wirelessliferocks.com. And when you go on this website, Wireless Life Rocks, then you find a vlog and a blog where I write some articles about this trip on the road.
Wonderful. Well, I'll let you go and get ready for the next show.
Thank you.
And I look forward to seeing you there shortly.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you, everyone who's watching on the live or people who watch in the replay. We really do appreciate each and every one of you. If you'd like to be a guest on any of our shows, please go over to usaglobaltv.com, book your session. Now, I do have a disclaimer. Some of the shows are by invitation only. So although I am inviting you now, some of the shows, the guest lists are controlled by the co-hosts. So if it says that by invitation only, pick a different show if you would, please. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, we would love if you click subscribe so that you get informed about all of our programming. We typically have between 20 and 25 live shows each and every week. We're coming out with some new shows. We have a new show on Christianity, which will be starting soon. We also have a show for women, about women, by women, called A Woman's Prerogative, and that's coming out also shortly. And something that's open to everyone, let me find my graphic here. We have our reunion show, which is May the 1st, and this is open to each and every person who would like to promote something. This is not an interview show. This is where you have the ability to promote your work, your product, your business, your service, your book, your film, your event, and we will be live streaming for 6 hours. You get 15 minutes to broadcast whatever it is that you are promoting, and you also get to meet all the people who are there for that day. We did this event for the launch of our channel January the 10th, just a few short months ago, and it was a hit. We have a few spaces left, so if you're interested, I will put it into the comments where it is that you can go ahead and book and join us. All right, that's all I have for right now. You stay where you are. I'm going to go to the other studio, and we'll be back with Roland very soon for his Talking Heads episode. Thank you again. See you soon. Bye.